Welcome to another episode of The Perspective with the Rayven.
Different personality, but make sure that you share the same values. The part of the reasons why I wrote that 13-part series was I wanted to shed light on the pain, the journey. Seeds never die.
Seeds never die. Oof. When it's time to go to bed, I take note of 3 things I'm grateful for, at least. And I find that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going about my day looking for those things to be grateful for. Welcome to another episode of The Perspective with the Rayven. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking to one of my dear friends that I've known for a really long time. I really admire this guy because he's evolved so much throughout the years and he has a lot of stories to tell. He's one of those people, when you sit down with them, you realize do not judge a book by its cover, right? So my guest today is Attah Anzanku. He's one of the founders and current executive director and partnership and stakeholder management at AgroEknor Limited. He also serves as the branch MD of AgroEknor Abu Dhabi. He holds a bachelor degree in petroleum engineering from Covenant University, my alma mater. He has a master's degree in gas engineering and management from the University of Suffolk, United Kingdom. He holds a technical certificate in oil and gas operation and safety, oil and gas operational safety. Bosch. He hails from Nasarawa State, hence the interesting name. His experience includes storytelling, leadership, construction, and precious metals. Attah, welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
Good to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
You're happy to hear. Like, you're not always in Abuja, so thank God we caught you in Abuja.
Yes.
First of all,
perfect timing.
Perfect timing. What brings you here, to be honest? What brings you?
To be honest, I just came. I've not been to Abuja since October.
Okay.
I came to just see my parents and just see how everything is in Abuja and just to relax a bit.
Just to relax.
Nothing, no business.
No business, right. Do you know what, like, one of the things I found interesting about you over the years is you're one of those guys that you take out time to do things that feed your soul and your body, not just your pockets, right? So walk me through that.
Well, for me, things that I hold dearly, 2 things. I don't want to be on my deathbed and look back and say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, right? Yeah. So that drives me with a sense of urgency. So when I think about stuff, I don't dilly-dally or think too much about it. I just move.
You just move.
I do it. I think it, I move it, I try it. So even if it doesn't work, that means that it doesn't work in the short term. But what tends to happen is, you know, sometimes your ideas are like seeds that you drop in the ground, and when you cover it, they may not germinate as how you want them to germinate as at when due, but it will find expression through another means. So that's why sometimes, like, when things just come, because I wouldn't say I'm a religious person. I'm spiritual. There's a difference between the two. I think religion is more of a man-made institution used to create, to link us to God. But when you're spiritual, you're more connected with God. And I believe that God just, how people say, oh, I've been praying about it. Well, God is always dropping things in your head, through ideas. So just bring it to life and to fruition. So I just do things, even though it doesn't work. But anytime I look back, maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, I'll see that, oh, what I'm doing presently, the seed that I dropped in the ground is now connecting somehow. So that's how I just.
That's how I think. So basically, what you're saying is not necessarily where you sow that you reap.
Yes, all the time.
So you can sow somewhere today and expect the result, and it doesn't come. That doesn't mean that's the end of it.
Yes. Seeds never die.
Seeds never die. Oof. That's heavy, man. That's heavy. I love that. So obviously, like, your story has been one of, you went to Covenant University, right? Very interesting journey. And interesting enough, like, the first guest went to Covenant University as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So one of the things about Covenant for me as well, like, it was a very religious place, right? And for me, I was a bit distracted by the religiosity, and I wasn't able to really zone in on my spirituality, right? So you spoke just now about, like, spirituality. I don't know, like, so just walk me through what spirituality means to you and how you found expression in that context.
So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with religion.
No, of course. Of
right?
course.
But because it's anything that humans do, because we're not perfect, there will always be imperfections.
Yes.
Whether it's Catholic Church, this church, that church. But those religious activities like set the foundation for you.
Okay.
It's just like the basic training from your house now. You have to unlearn a couple of
it's
things.
like foundational.
So for me, spirituality is more of like knowing God for yourself. And God is different things. I mean, people can call God different things, but me particularly now, I would want to say that God for me represents the infinite intelligence. I call it the infinite intelligence of God because there's so many things in the background that are happening that
so many moving pieces.
You have no idea. So when I wake up in the morning, I do not pray the regular traditional prayer. I don't ask God for things. I've not asked God for things in ages.
So what do you do?
I do prayers of gratitude. Because, the reason why there's so much anxiety, panic, unhappiness, depression is because we're comparing ourselves with future instead of looking back at where we're coming from. Because if you check your trajectory, January, and you look at it now, a lot, even from your picture self, a lot has changed. So when you look at that on a granular form, like it warms your heart and you're like, I thought I was not making progress, but I'm actually making progress. And if you don't sit down to do that thing deliberately, you think that you're just void space, and then when you see other people doing stuff, you'll be saying, God, when I hate that statement. Because if you look deep down, no matter how small, like you were better, you're not the same person that you were yesterday.
There's some growth that's happened.
Yes,
progress.
There's some growth. So I wake up to prayers like, this is the day the Lord has made. I rejoice and be glad in it. The infinite intelligence of God is my partner, my senior partner. Everything I do today will turn out in a wonderful way.
Oh, wow. So you make those like positive affirmations.
Yes. So the infinite intelligence of God, is my senior partner. Because there are some things that with your human mind or your human logic, you may not deliberately see because you're distracted. Your phones, these things. But you just want God to be able to help you see in the midst of distractions and chaos.
How can you just but how are you able to just, so it's what I'm getting from me, like you have to almost like be able to stop.
Yes, you must stop every day.
And just pause. So so I'm getting like your morning ritual is almost like meditation.
Yeah, I stop, I pause. So I wake up, I don't go to my phone first. It's difficult, trust me.
Yeah.
Difficult to want to pick up phone. I just go out, take some 10 minutes of sunlight, then I begin to reflect.
Oh, wow.
And just, thank God for a new day. It's a new day.
No, of course.
New beginnings. I'm happy to be alive because life is fragile.
No,
so that's what gives me that sense of urgency. Like today, literally, can be your last day. That's the truth. It's not given.
No, because there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. Like, this is so interesting what you said. Is like, so I have this habit where I realize that if I'm not careful, like I wake up on a very negative note. So I started to cultivate this habit where I do something called the gratitude journal.
Okay.
So like throughout the day, I write like three, like when it's time to go to bed, I take notes of 3 things I'm grateful for, at least. And I find that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going about my day looking for those things to be grateful for.
Yes.
But this also brings me back. Another thing that I know about you as well is like you have a very holistic idea to health. Right?
Oh yes.
Like for you, like wellness is a very important topic. And I remember one time you even talking to me about like your diet, superfoods and stuff like that.
Oh
like,
yes.
You're very deep on that.
It's a bit evolved.
It's evolved.
So just last time we spoke.
Yeah, of course. So walk me through like your approach to health.
Okay, so for me, the background starts from the home. My dad.
Okay.
My dad, his family was not. They're not. When I mean like they had health issues. So weak hearts. My granddad from my dad's side died of a weak heart. My grandmom died of a weak heart. My dad has like 8 siblings. 3 died of obesity. So I think consciously my dad just decided to take the approach of being conscious about his health, and not just conscious about his health. You know, being conscious about your health is one thing, because now we can, like, everybody eats based on what they think
Yes.
is good for
It's
them.
good for them. Based on what they
But on a granular level, like when I tell people that, oh, have you gone to even do a blood test to know the foods that don't optimize you as a human being? So when you see some people are looking at you and thinking that your cocoa or your own is a bit too much, because the truth is, I don't care what you're doing or what you're striving. The number one thing that God has given you is this body, which is your car, that you need to manage and drive till you leave. So once it shuts down, anything that you've planned you want to do is not. So your priority should be your health, whether mental or physical. It should be your health. So when it comes to health, how I see health is, how am I able to optimize my body to be able to get the most out of it? Because I don't think people are like, let me give you an instance now. Okay, they said maybe they give you some old wives' tales when we were growing up, that okay, you should not do this, don't walk this. So that's the model you've been using. You're just going and you're waking up every day in the morning. Okay, they said, oh, rice is not good for me, I'm not going to eat rice. So if you don't know for a fact what it is that your body really needs, like if you go and run blood tests, right, you'll be moved by every wave of doctrine. So you watch on the news, oh, they say we should not eat egg, I'm not supposed to eat it. Oh, they say we should not. But like, if you go and run a blood test, you know for sure that you can block the outside noise
and just focus on what works.
And just focus on what works for you, because we're different. We're all different. Like, even if you grow up in the same house of siblings, your blood works are different.
Yes.
Your heart is different. I don't know how many people have gone to do ECG or stress ECGs or echo or scans. All those very, very detailed things.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about, very particular.
Because I like that you say this, because it's like now we're seeing in this generation a lot of young people are just going about their day, and they'll just slum and they'll just die. So like, you saying this means that like maybe we're underestimating like the importance of checking on our body.
Yep.
And I think also with the way the world is, the stress is adding to it as
there's
well.
a lot more stress, and there's a lot more focus now, especially with the way social media is structured to show you parts of your life that you're missing or what you don't have yet.
What you don't have yet.
So there's a lot of mental pressure, there's a lot of mental, exhaustion, and then panic. Oh, I'm not making it. Oh, what's going on? Oh God, when? You're laboring and all those things. No, I don't like it, because see, just waking up today is a gift.
Like that, you should be grateful for that, because you had no idea how you were.
Do you understand?
You don't know what happened.
Yes, you don't know what happened. A lot of people slept and died. Like, people made plans and genuinely just went. So that alone is a gift. So I think that we're not conscious. You know how you bring yourself back into your body, because half of the time when you wake up, your mind is everywhere till you're about to sleep. And when I mean everywhere, like, your mind is not back in your body. You're thinking of this, you're thinking of that, what I need to do. Like, an exercise I always practice is, sometimes I can just, I'll just bring my consciousness back to my heartbeat.
How do you do that?
You just stop, we pause.
Just stop. Like, but I hear like breathing is a very good. I know
breathing.
Like,
so when I mean, I'm not even saying breathe back and forth. I'm saying just like, how you're giving attention to this thing now. You just stop, and just focus attention on your heartbeat.
On your heartbeat.
I'm sure a lot of people don't think about that. They're just going.
Yeah, because I remember reading somewhere about like one thing that breathing reminds you is how complex you are as a human being.
Yes.
Right? Because like when you're breathing unconsciously, you don't know the amount of work that's being done.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that's going on.
And like how many times you breathe in and out per second and all those things. I feel like as human beings we underestimate that. Right. So Attah, I know you've had a very interesting journey as an entrepreneur, working in this entrepreneur space, trying to create stuff. What has this journey been like for you? Like, I know there's a lot of ups and downs. What has this done to you as a person in general?
It has evolved me, because I think that generally humankind, we need pain to grow. You think of all the best human inventions. It was never developed in times of ease.
No.
It was when people's backs were against the wall, when there were problems, when there were issues. Like I was just discussing with Braid earlier, I was telling him that, look, you see, venting is not a good thing, and I'll tell you why. Why it's not a good thing? Because you're wasting negative energy that you will direct
To something more
into something that will propel you.
So worrying doesn't get you anywhere.
It doesn't. So when you call somebody and you want to rant, right? So let's say maybe someone said, "Oh, your business is rubbish," blah 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 blah. And you call someone, "Oh, I need to call to see it better." What you should do? I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm saying that half of the time, you just channel that dark energy and use it as fuel to push you.
Transmute the energy.
You transmute it. You just turn it. You push it, because you see, this criticism that we're talking about, there's nothing like constructive criticism. It's negative. There's nothing like, oh, it's constructive. I just feel that there's criticism that is diplomatic or is nice to hear. It's not harsh, but criticism is criticism. It's not constructive.
So you don't think there's any value in the process?
No. I'm saying criticism.
Okay.
I'm not saying now that somebody doesn't like you as a person and wants to bring you down. That's different.
Okay.
I'm saying that when I say that, Jack Paul, you're not taking your health seriously, or what's wrong with you? Tomorrow you can. Do you understand? There's nothing great about it. You feel bad.
Yes.
I think that the world has gone too soft. We have created different pathways to accommodate people's emotions, people's feelings. So, in my own opinion, I think that the world has gone weaker.
Too sensitive.
Too sensitive, too weak. I mean, you're fat. Go and lose weight.
Wow.
There's no like you need to hear it to ring in your head. You need to push you.
You need to point out that, like, like, if you're going this path,
yes,
this can happen.
Exactly.
Instead of pretending like that's not the case.
Pretending that that's not the case. And the people that use those energy the most, they are very great examples. You see, Jordan and Kobe. There's nobody that used negativity to fuel their game. That's all they used.
So, like, yeah, you throw it at me.
You throw it at me, and I need and every one of us needs it. If not, you get into the abyss of comfort.
That's a very dangerous.
You just start going. So you need constant people pressing your neck, pushing you. That's the only way you're going to evolve.
That's the only way you're going to go. No, it's so interesting that you say that, because there's a book that I read that kind of changed the way that I see things. It's called Obstacle is the Way, right? And I realized that, like, at the back of most of my greatest adversity, I've come out a stronger and a better person.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you that, like, yes, at the end of the day, it's like criticism can have its negative effects, but then as a human being, it depends on what you use it to do, right? Yeah. And so yeah, that's pretty interesting. I like that. Also, I know that you're very particular about, like, active sports. I know you're talking about this concept that you found out about picking up a new sport and how that helps your mind and your body. Do you want to walk me through that?
Yes, So, as I said, I think it was in 2019 or 2020, I'm not sure. So I tried to pick up golf. Then, so I read a book. I think it was a rabbi that wrote it. I think it was Rabbi David Lapin. I can't remember the name of the book, but he just spoke about picking up a new sport and then using it to connect with people, and then also using it to sharpen your focus, and then your awareness, your discipline, and all of that. So I picked, as at that time, golf just suited what I wanted to do. But because I move around a lot, I wasn't playing as much as I wanted to. And golf is quite an elite sport that requires time, dedication, attention. Once you leave it for a few months, it has left you, and you need to actually plan properly.
But because of the kids and the what you need for
because of kids, when you're traveling, you have to be a member, you have to, so all of that. So there's something I usually do every year. It's called yearly compass, where, so I don't believe in, I believe that your life is a journey,
right,
and it's supposed to be a continuation. So the things that I wrote down to do last year, I'm not going to add anything new to do to them. What I'll do at the end of the year is to review how the year has been, what I was able to accomplish that I didn't even write there, and the things that I accomplished that I wrote, and then see that, okay, the things I didn't do, this is a continuation. I didn't achieve it because of X, Y, Z, and then I'll rejig, I'll re-strategize, then I'll go again. Because it's a process. It's not, I'm not going to go to abandon ship and start something new. So I said, one of the things was, I always kept writing golf, and I just said to myself, because there's this book I'm reading now, I can't remember the name of the book. I think is The Formula for Wealth. I can't remember what the guy's name is. Professor Holloway. So he gives a very detailed narrative on like how to create wealth. You know, people think that money is a skill. If you don't know the skill, you won't make money. Yeah. It's not something you wish for, or it's not something you plan. But anyways,
it's more of a lifestyle, isn't it? Wealth creation.
Money is a skill. Just like how you go to school, you drive. It's something that you need to learn the basics and the rudimentary. You cannot wish it, you cannot say God when, and you cannot hope, because that's all we do. And because we are not strategic, so let me give you an instance now. If I ask everybody in this room now, I ask them, I say, how much money will be enough that you stop? People don't have an answer. How much money is going to be enough for you that when you get it, you're done?
You know you're done.
And then how will you reach it? But when you sit down, you pray every day, you say, God, when I want to hammer how much? How will you get there? Because time is going, you're getting older.
You know, like Nigeria, we have this, we're very miracle-driven people.
Yeah.
So you can blow overnight.
Yeah, it's a bottomless pit. So you need to have a figure. It can be any amount. It doesn't have to be that when I get this, I'm done. Then you now strategize how to get there.
Right.
And then every year you're working towards it. If not, you end up on a rat race on a wheel.
Vicious cycle, just doing the same thing.
And then obviously, because you don't have what you're working towards, because it's like you're going to the gym, you want to lose your belly fat and all, you have a target. Why don't we have that with money?
Right. So you think it's important that, like, the same way you have like physical goals, you should have like
you must have monetary goals and how you want to achieve them and how you want to get them. And it may not be visible enough that you say, okay, this you just start it,
and then
it will give way.
It will learn on its way. Yeah. So also as well, it's like being a co-founder, right? I know I want to just talk me through a bit how you got into your business space, the space that you operate in. I know you do a lot of international trade, international transactions in the agricultural space.
Yes. So it's funny because when we first started, we were commodity traders, but I like to call ourselves agripreneurs.
Okay.
We're in the agribusiness.
Okay.
Is a better description than commodity trader. Commodity trader just sounds like a briefcase person that just wants to cut deals. Yeah. So we're in the agribusiness, and I mean, my background, petroleum engineering, gas engineering.
That's what I'm saying.
But my background from growing up was, I grew up in ranch home where I had all kinds of, I grew up with several livestock, planting stuff. So agri has always been ingrained. I've been an agrarian boy right from time. But then while we're in school, I met Timmy, my other founders. Timmy was a very good friend of mine. I went to see you together. I went to Manchester, and then when we finished school, we were like, okay, we're about to come back. what is it that we want to do and start first before we now go and look for regular pay jobs, because that's the intention.
Yeah.
So I got back first, and I remember I had a job offer in the Middle East then. Very tempting, good pay. I was 25, you know, and I didn't know which way to go. But there's something profound, and like in my 13-part series of AgroEknor, the Unlikely Beginners, there's something I shared in the beginning. I said, so I went to my dad. I was not like confused. I don't know what I'm going to do. Should I look for work? Because my mom was saying, oh, go to work. But my dad told me that, Attah, and this was in 2012, he said, ideas are going to rule the world. So just go on with it. So that's how I got, because you see, when you're starting out on business ventures, and you always need somebody to give you that fire.
Yeah.
And that was the fire I needed. You know, oh, you're young, go and make money in oil and gas, you wasted your parents' money, blah, 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 blah. But unconsciously, subconsciously, I didn't know that some of all those negative comments was fueling me to make that business work.
Because you wanted to prove a point.
Because I needed to prove a point. I needed to make it work. My back was against the wall several times. So we did the business, it was doing well. And then in 2017, we had issues. You know, some of our consignments were going to South America then, and then there was a ban. So like 30 containers worth of consignments stopped, were confiscated. So the company was in loss of millions, 300 million naira to be precise. And that was, I just newly got married then.
Oh, wow.
And you know, not being able to provide when your wife comes to ask you. So every morning I wake up at 5, weeping, crying. 1-5, 2-5, this thing. But what I'm trying to say is that we glamorize success too much, but we do not tell people that the recipe for greatness is all those times that people were crying, they were down, there was doubt, and they kept on pushing, they were resilient. That's what took you there. So we have too much focus on that aspect. And for me, part of the reasons why I wrote that 13-part series was I wanted to shed light on the pain, the journey, that it was not smooth sailing. That because you see me like this, it doesn't mean that I've still figured out things. I'm still on my journey, I'm still going. And that's why I don't believe in like mentors. I don't like the word mentors, because I prefer teacher. Because you are in your journey, you're farther than me, so you can show me certain things. But even you too, as a teacher, you're still figuring things out.
You're learning.
Yeah, but when we take mentors, they've achieved it, and that's why it breaks people's heart when mentors have issues.
Have human life, real life issues.
But the teacher can make mistakes because he's learning.
Yes.
So that's how the business started, and we've done well so far. But I'm always cautiously excited and grounded, because I know that, you know, you just have to keep going. You have to just keep going. Like I'll stop. I'll you know, appreciate God. Thank you for bringing me here. You know, I'll celebrate, but we will move.
Before you move, man. You know, like, and so this is just for anybody out there trying to start a business. Partnerships, right? I've been involved in some partnerships that I felt like at the end of the day I had no business getting into. So like you and your partners, you seem to have a very reasonable working partnership. Like what tips can you
brothers.
Your brothers.
We are
that's interesting.
I'll say we're brothers, and we are, I think, see, I cannot tell you exactly pinpoint that, oh, there's this value, But I think that if I must, you must share. So you may have different personalities, right? But make sure that you share the same values. What you value the most, because it's not going to change.
Skill sets
Change.
evolve.
Your personality too may change. You may decide to take on a new, but your value system must align. Which is, for us, our values was what we. So I mean, we're doing at different times. Everybody likes what, but for us, we wanted to build a brand, right, that was going to outlive us. 1, 2, we wanted to build something that was going to, I don't like to use the word inspire. I like to use to upgrade people's minds. I'd rather use that, to upgrade or transcend. You know, when you transcend, because transcendence is it's something that is continuous.
Right. Okay.
Do you understand? So we wanted a business that when someone looks at it, because I think that a lot of Nigerian, we don't have anything we can relate to. Everybody's reading Jeff Bezos' book, everybody's reading Bill Gates' book. You can't relate to it. You don't know what Bank America is. You don't know what their credit system there is. But if you read my story and you see that I lost 300 million and I was able to go again,
that's more relatable.
It's relatable.
More
in Nigeria, and people are complaining that, oh, I can do it.
Right.
So because we share those, and obviously we didn't want to have economic anxiety anymore.
You wanted to create something that would.
Yes, economic anxiety. That means I don't want when you come and ask me, oh, we need to do this, and I'm scampering, I'm shaking, I'm thinking too much. So those were the common values that we shared, and that was what has kept the bond. But our personalities are different.
I can see.
What we do in our private lives is different, and it doesn't correlate, but it's the values system that has kept us together.
Right. So then it's like, how do you identify these values? Because it's so easy for anybody to say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, how do you know? Was there a moment that you knew that you connected with your partner?
Yes, I think when we got introduced, because I mean, like for instance, I and Timmy were not speaking in Covenant then.
Yeah.
No, we just only started speaking in Manchester.
Oh, wow.
So it's a mutual friend, Finny. I don't know if you know.
Oh,
Finny.
yeah, no, Finny,
So
yeah.
Finny now said, "Oh, I thought you and this my friend."
I think you guys. Yeah.
So we kicked off, and let me tell you what resonated with me and Timmy. So for Timmy, I liked his confidence and the way he spoke without fear. Right? For Timmy, if you ask him, he'll say, Attah was very put together and organized. So what we did was we rubbed off on each other. And we became very tight bodies. And then obviously the third wheel, he told me his brother was this. Don't get me wrong, we've had arguments, we fight, we go back and forth, we hammer on each other. But there's an advice that one of the co-founders, or one of the founders of Move Africa told me. He said that if you want a partnership to keep going for a very long time, you have to come out of your biases. Do you get what I mean? And that's why I say personality.
Right.
So if, for instance, now I gave you like maybe we're doing a project. I don't know. Let me give you a typical one. So there's a project that we're doing. So my dad is one of the shareholders in the company. So there's a project that we're doing to build, right? And family business into construction. So we are not like, oh, what's best than a shareholder to do the work? Because he has interest in the company, he'll do it better. Although we did our due diligence on not making it a related party transaction, but we did everything to book. But then, so I and Timmy used to argue a lot, because sometimes he will say, oh, Sunsplash doesn't want us to move forward, and it rubs me off the wrong because I'll be biased towards my father, and even though he's trying to pass a message, I'll get defensive. I'll fight with him. And on the other hand, his uncle was the project manager, so I'll go back. So what he told me was like, you come out of your biases and look for the commonality. So what is it that we want to achieve? We want the project to go.
Yes.
So don't mention my dad, don't mention this. Just say, bro, I see that the job is delaying. What can I do? Or what can I unlock to push this job faster? Because once you meet anybody in their bias, their belief system, they will fight you.
They'll be defensive.
And you end up fighting. And then what's not going to happen is that you sever ties, you break. You say, I'm done with this person. He doesn't like my feelings. So leave biases alone.
Your emotions and your feelings.
Leave them. Look for the commonality, the value. What are we trying to do that we see eye to eye, and talk about it?
Start from there. That's really interesting because like in today's world, it's like I feel you always go further when you go with people, right? And now hearing you say this is I've had my own issues with partnerships. It's something that I have struggled with, and I think one thing I'm hearing from you is that like I've been very, very caught up in my own biases, right? And a lot of my decisions, I don't think they've always been clear-cut facts. It's just more about my feelings about it, or the perception I have about what this person is thinking. So one of the things I've learned now is to speak about things. Because I dealt with a lot of suppressed emotions because I didn't want to. Sometimes you don't want to ruffle feathers. So because of that, you be hiding how you feel, but at some point you will explode. But I think for you and your partners is you face it head on and have those uncomfortable conversations, which is pretty good. But Attah, like, tell me as well, it's like, so for someone trying to go into business in Nigeria, right? Especially because you've lived abroad, worked abroad, and then you've come back, right? That change is usually crazy because I dealt with it as well. It's like, and you said something interesting about how we don't really have role models who we can look at their stories or learn from their mistake based on the context. But then how would you advise someone knowing that there's limited resources out there in terms of the business context to go about it?
Just come and start.
Just start.
If it is something, so that's, first of all, is that what you want?
Okay.
If that's what you want, you make your decision quickly. Move. So when you start to dilly-dally, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years passes, you're getting older, barriers to entry is getting higher, things are not as, so just come and start. That speed of thought, action, start. That's my advice. That's
your speed of thought, action, and start. So, but then it's like, that means the idea is to, so you don't believe in that perfect time, perfect conditions, because it doesn't exist.
There's never a perfect time. There is never ever a perfect time. I think it's just a coping mechanism that we use because we don't want to have to deal with certain discomfort or pain. So we dance around it, we swing. Everybody does it. I do it.
Yes. Do
you understand? I'm not saying that I'm immune to it, but it's something that I have to consciously.
I'm more mindful of.
More mindful that I have to push. There's never a better time because you're here today, you're not here tomorrow. Like, who knew COVID was going to happen and 2 years of our life shut down?
I'm telling you, that was crazy. But then that's also like, it brings me to something that I read about procrastination being a defense mechanism, right? And sometimes it's because we are afraid of what if this thing goes right, right? It's not even the fear of it going wrong, it's the fear of it going right. And when it goes right, it means that there's a lot more responsibility on you, and also there's a level of imposter syndrome, which is something I dealt with as well, right? I remember I always wanted to be active on speaking on mental health, but then I would have conversations with myself. It's like, Jack, but why do you think you have the right to have this conversation? Who are you, or whatever? So I would always, when there was an opportunity, I always say next time. So I like what it is that you're saying, because how I was able to do that is I just got out there, started speaking one day, and I've been learning from my mistake ever since. So that's really interesting.
Just start. Put your foot out. Start.
No, I'm really enjoy really speaking to you. I've learned a lot about your journey as well. But I also know You're a family man as well.
Yes.
Right? What role does your family play in your thought process in this journey you have been?
Okay, so first of all, that's why my health is important, because I need to be there for my family.
Need to be there for your family.
The only way to be there for your family is to make yourself priority. So a lot of people give their all to their family and then they protect themselves last. It should be first. So because if you're not 100%, you cannot give to you. Do you understand? You cannot give. You just not be present to give whatever you need to give to your family. So for me, first of all, my wife has been quite instrumental, because like part of the decision when I got married was I needed somebody to press my neck. Let me use that.
Keep you on your toes.
Keep me on my toes. If I tell her something, so before I even tell her anything, I have to go and deliberate and think about it and make sure that it's sure, it's factual. You know, so that also has a way of chiseling me and improving me, and all. So she's very vital in that role. And then obviously for my daughter, yes, I want to be able to provide for her financially, but also yes, I want to be present. I'm not present. Presence is good, but I want to be healthy enough and live long enough to be able to walk through that process with her. Because I hear a lot of parents say, "Oh, you need to spend time with your child," because you see, that spending time, that memory is for you. It's not for the child.
How do you mean?
The child doesn't remember. It's a process of growing up. I'm not saying that the child will not appreciate it, but spending moments with your child, right? That feeling, that happiness is usually for you.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Do you understand? It's for you. It's not the child is 5 or 6. Like what did they do? They're learning about life so fast. It's coming at them. Now they may not appreciate all those things till maybe they are much. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember when my dad did that." So yes, but
at the time that is happening,
that is happening is more for you.
So what is it?
It's more of the memories, like those are because your child is going to evolve. You don't know who is going to evolve to.
So just watching the process.
So just watching the process, just spending time with them, it just gives you joy. You're happy, and then you just have something that you want to live for.
So like that spending time with them is kind of, it strikes me like it's the kind of the memory you look back to when things are getting tough.
Yeah, when things are getting tough, those are part of the things that you draw strength from. You take from your memory bank. You draw from the well.
Positive energy.
And you just use them to push yourself. So yeah, family is important. It's good. Whatever family, whether it's your parents or your nuclear or whatever it is, family doesn't have to be wife, whatever. It could be whoever it is that.
And something that you said that really piqued my interest when you're talking about your wife as well, right? I think it's a similar thing for me, in the sense that, like, I remember when I met her, I had this thought in my head that, like, I couldn't afford this woman right now, right? The sense that, like, I couldn't afford her emotionally,
yes,
financially. I just felt like I felt like I could be the guy eventually, right? But then I wasn't ready. But then having to finally be with her meant that I had to evolve.
Yes.
Right? And I have someone here that works with me, Kelvin. He will tell you that, like, she's like one of our greatest critique, right? Like, before we do anything in a lot of our organizations, she's one of the first person who think about, like, if she sees this thing now, is she going to be fine with it, right? And I feel like what that has given me is an extra layer of strength, knowing that, like, even if my eyes miss it, right, because she knows where we're going, she can help spot it. So I just thought to add that in, because I think we underestimate the importance of our partners, right? And not just in terms of raising kids or whatever, just in terms of the chase for our dreams. as well. So I thought this has been really, really, really insightful. But like I said, there's a game that we're going to play.
Okay.
It's called the Card of Thoughts, right? So I'm just going to shuffle it, and then you pick a card, and then you're going to read the question out loud. If you're not comfortable with it, we can change it.
No, I'll pick the whatever
Yes, okay, you
has been dealt.
You're always a good sport. I love that. So I don't know if you want me to split it or you just
No,
want
it's fine. I'll just pick from anywhere.
Okay, pick from there. Okay.
So okay, now I pick two.
So you so you read it out and you help us answer it.
Oh wow.
You comfortable with it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It says, "How do I rise again after life has buried parts of me?"
Oof. I'm sure you. This is definitely. It's like your spirit led you to this because you've been that.
How do I rise again after life has buried parts of me?
How do you rise again after life?
I think first of all, it's very important that you every day in your life you need to pause. Every day you're dying, and when I mean dying, I don't mean physical death. I'm saying I'm talking of
your versions of you.
Your versions of you. You're not the same person that you were yesterday. You have evolved. So you need to rising again is okay. To get to where I want to get to, right? What do I have to embrace? As the one that has gone, water under the bridge. What do I have to embrace again to give me life, to push me towards the next step on the next journey? Because when you reach there again, you still bury some things. You keep going. So I think what is important is, I think that we've over romanticized purpose, but I want to say, whatever it is that is in your head that you want to achieve, right? That thing will always give you life.
So it shouldn't be about feelings, it should be about purpose.
Yes, it should be about purpose, it should be about clarity, it should be about because wherever you're going to, whatever shuts down, eyes on the prize. And if it means that you have to drop down from the mountain to re-strategize, to recalibrate another eye on the prize, or another where you're going to, you do it, you recalibrate and you go forward.
Oh, wow. But do you know what I'm just thinking when you're saying all this is, I feel like that means we shouldn't get too comfortable with any version of ourselves.
Yeah, just you're
constantly.
You can't be attached to some. As it's going, let it go. Water on the bridge, you move, let it go. You'll be fluid like water.
Fluid, I love it. I think that's one of the greatest skills, because if you're not fluid when life strikes, you break instead of bending. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Attah. This has been such an insightful conversation.
Thanks for having me.
And sharing.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. It's nice that we're finally having to record it.
Yes.
But I've learned so much. You have such a unique story. I wish you all the best in your world.
Thank you. Nice one, my brother. Bye.